Marcus Chen had always considered himself average among humans. Unremarkable height, standard-issue brown hair, and a tendency to crack jokes at the worst possible moments. He certainly never expected to be humanity's unofficial ambassador to the Zephyrian delegation aboard Station Nexus 7. The job had fallen to him purely by accident. The original diplomat had caught Rigelian flu, the backup was stuck in quarantine, and Marcus happened to be the only human on the station who spoke. Passable Zephyrian, his linguistics degree, gathering dust for 3 years while he worked as a maintenance tech, suddenly made him the most qualified person for first contact protocols. "Just don't mess this up, Chen," his supervisor had warned. "These Zephyrians are our ticket into the Galactic Trade Consortium. Humanity needs this." That was 6 weeks ago. Now, as Marcus walked through the station's botanical gardens with Elsa, the Zephyrian cultural attaché, he wondered if anyone back on Earth would believe how spectacularly things had evolved. Elsa stood nearly 7 feet tall, her skin a luminescent blue-silver that shifted like liquid mercury under different lighting. Forearms moved with elegant precision as she examined Earth flora, her large violet eyes reflecting genuine fascination. Where humans had evolved for endurance and adaptability, Zephyrians had developed for grace and intellectual pursuits. Their homeworld's low gravity had produced beings of ethereal beauty, but limited physical strength. "These roses," she said, her voice carrying the musical quality all Zephyrians possessed, "they damage themselves to create beauty." "Is this common among Earth species?" Marcus grinned, unable to resist. "Pretty much describes humans too. We're always doing dangerous stuff because we think it's worth it." Over the past weeks, he'd watched Elsa's initial diplomatic formality gradually dissolve into something that resembled friendship. She asked endless questions about human culture, seemingly baffled by their contradictions. Why did humans create art about suffering? Why did they risk their lives for strangers? Why did they find humor in pain? "Your species is illogical," she had declared during their second meeting, though her tone carried curiosity rather than criticism. "That's kind of our thing," Marcus had replied. "We're really good at being illogical." Today felt different, though. Elsa seemed distracted, her usual graceful movement slightly hesitant. As they paused beside a fountain, she turned to face him with an expression he'd learned to recognize as serious contemplation. "Marcus," she began, "I must confess something that may complicate our diplomatic relations." His stomach dropped. Had he unknowingly insulted her? Broken some cultural taboo? "What's wrong?" "I have been studying human emotional responses," she said carefully, "and I believe I am experiencing what your people call attraction." Marcus blinked, certain he'd mistranslated. "I'm sorry, what?" "The Zephyrian High Council selected me for this mission because I am considered emotionally stable," she continued, her forehands clasping and unclasping nervously. "My people rarely experience what you call romantic attachment. We are logical, practical. Yet since arriving here, since meeting you," she paused, searching for words, "I find myself thinking about concepts that have no practical value. The sound of your laughter, the way you gesture when explaining something you care about. These thoughts serve no diplomatic purpose, yet I cannot dismiss them." Marcus felt the world tilt slightly. This was not covered in any first contact manual he'd ever read. "Elsa," he said carefully, "are you saying you have feelings for me?" "If I understand human terminology correctly, yes." Her violet eyes met his, though I recognize this is highly inappropriate given our respective positions. For a moment, Marcus forgot how to breathe. Then his natural instinct kicked in, deflect with humor. "Well," he said with a shaky grin, "careful there. You're falling for me." Elsa's expression grew solemn. Too late. The simple honesty in those 2 words hit him harder than any elaborate declaration could have. Here was a being from a species known for their logical, unemotional nature, admitting to feelings that went against everything she'd been raised to value. "This is crazy," Marcus whispered. "Yes," she agreed. "Humans have made me crazy." He laughed despite himself, and she smiled. A rare, genuine expression that transformed her already beautiful features into something that made his heart race. "You know," he said, stepping closer, "most of my species would say this is impossible. Different biology, different psychology, different everything. Your point? My point is that humans are really, really good at making impossible things work." He reached out tentatively and she extended one of her hands to meet his. Her skin felt like cool silk. "We've got a talent for defying logic. I am beginning to understand this about your species," she said softly. "The thing is," Marcus continued, "I've been having some pretty illogical thoughts myself lately, wondering what it would be like to show you Earth, introduce you to pizza, teach you to drive a car. Driving appears unnecessarily dangerous." "Exactly. You'd hate it." He grinned. "Want to try it anyway?" Elsa's laugh was like silver bells, drawing stares from other station residents passing by. A human and a Zephyrian, holding hands in the botanical garden, had probably just become the station's biggest gossip topic. "I should warn you," Marcus said. "Dating a human comes with certain risks. We're unpredictable, stubborn, and we have this weird compulsion to run toward danger instead of away from it." "I have observed these traits," Elsa replied solemnly. "I find them attractive." "Well then," Marcus said, squeezing her hand gently, "I guess we're both crazy now." As they walked back toward the diplomatic quarters, Marcus couldn't help but marvel at the situation. Humanity's first interspecies romance, and it had started with a maintenance tech and a joke. Somehow that felt perfectly human. Behind them, the roses continued to bloom, beautiful and dangerous and entirely worth the thorns.